Do you know what song I heard today for the first time in, I'm going to say conservatively 10 years, but I would guess probably more like 15. I heard The Bad Touch by the Bloodhound Gang.
Oh, hell yeah. It has not been that long since I've heard that song. Not even close.
We had it so good in the 90s. All you needed was a guy who can't really sing and like a drum machine. And
and like a basic synth line.
Yeah. That song goes incredibly fucking hard. More pop songs should be about loads, in my opinion.
Yeah. My theory on that is that it's actually a synthwave song, but like too late to be like an actual 80s like song, but too early to be like the Drive throwback era of synthwave.
Oh, sure.
So it's just a really weird, out of time song for me.
So what you're saying is this is the perfect time for like both a Nightcore remix of Bad Touch. But also conversely, okay, you could have like a Witch House style remix where it's like 2/3 the tempo, and there's like some like gnarly beat behind it too.
Yeah.
Maybe
really
some
blow
extra
out
reverb.
Those drums.
Yeah, I think we're ready for that.
Yeah, 125% speed. Throw a Hatsune Miku in that thumbnail, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, we need like the kind of Bad Touch that you would hear at like the Rectum. That style. That style of music.
It's just a glitched out bottle of NyQuil on the cover.
Sweat, baby, sweat, baby. Could probably sing that whole song.
We need a version of the Bad Touch for each Noe film. So you've got your climax version that you can kind of dance to.
Sweat, baby, sweat, baby. The Vortex remix.
Yeah. Something like something really like ambient. Maybe almost like okay, it's like, like that kind of trip hop that's like really not, it's like if you've like put trip hop through like a meat grinder and then you sort of like drink the juice of that. That's sort of like what I could imagine from Enter the Void. Like really, you've elongated it somehow. You've made it even more ambient than before.
I was gonna say for Enter the Void, you could do one of those like where you like slow it down 9,000% or whatever. So it's just like a pitch. It's not really like a song anymore.
It's a fucking William Basinski song, yeah.
Like Mama would be taking slow-mo to that in Dread.
Right. Yeah. This new Godspeed You Black Emperor song is fucking wild.
We tricked you, Craig. It's actually the Bloodhound Gang.
I would love to hear like a really good rapper like I feel like rappers don't really cover things, but like if Megan Thee Stallion covered it, I feel like it would go crazy.
And like she throws in her own verse like 2/3 of the way through it.
Absolutely, yeah, you gotta, because she's. I feel like her flow's a lot quicker than the Bloodhound Gang guys.
Yeah,
so
she'd get through that thing in like a minute and a half.
Yeah, so just for runtime, you're gonna want her to add her own verse in. Anyway, it's a good song. It holds up. I like it.
Yeah. That's probably their best song.
Yeah, I did like their one that's called like, it's like Untis, like it's supposed to be like a drum machine sound, like a drum sound. Yeah, that one went really hard.
Foxtrot, Uniform, Charlie Kilo. I can play that one on guitar. It's very easy.
I had that one as a kid. Yeah, that song's great. Wow, I know way more Bloodhound Gang songs than I thought I knew.
Let's Fire, Water, Burn. Was that them?
Stand by.
Really dredging the lake of my mind to think of Bloodhound Gang songs. Yeah,
Fire, Water, Burn was a Bloodhound Gang song.
Yeah. All right. I think that's all of them that are kicking around in there. I was never that into them.
Sorry, their album was called Hooray for Boobies.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
We used to have art in this world.
Yeah, we used to have art. We used to be a fucking proper country.
Music used to mean something, man.
This is the return to tradition that I think we really need to be focusing on. We were never like homesteaders. Okay, we were never like Laura Ingalls Wilder in our gowns, milking cows and raising 17 children. But we did used to have albums called "Hooray for Boobies."
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's the return to tradition that I think we should have.
Yeah, they don't write love songs like they used to.
Are you guys ready to talk about the most Bloodhound Gang movie we've ever covered on the podcast?
All right, now that we got our opening 5 done about the Bloodhound Gang.
Drop those Jolly Ranchers in. Let's fucking go.
All right, Padlock, take it away.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Hello and welcome to SWIMFANS Bloodbath. This is your number one horror block for the year. I am your co-host. I got a chest full, of gems and book pages. I'm Josh McKenzie.
Oh, I'm shitting out my doo-doo ass on my tits. I'm Craig Neeson.
I'm Glitter Vortex, Jennifer Hawking.
This week on Bloodbath, we are talking 2021 Phil Tippett film, Mad God.
I just do it.
Real quick on the plot synopsis here.
No, go into every detail.
Okay, so the first thing to know about Mad God is this is a silent film without any like dialogue or character, which I think is a first for the show. Like we've never had that before.
Yeah. Even Color Pomegranates had the like inner titles, right?
Yeah.
That were spoken.
Yeah, I think so.
And like even like something that's sort of non-narrative, like Sans Soleil, still had like spoken word in it.
Oh yeah, and it's like it's a meandering essay, but it's still like an essay.
Still an essay.
Yeah, I think there's some Italian at one point, and I looked it up. It's actually from Fellini Satyricon that plays. There's like an extended Italian monologue when that plague doctor shows up.
Well, great. We have Fellini's most coherent film to guide us.
Well, that does explain everything.
Yeah. I was going to say Craig Neeson mention. That's all I think. I actually haven't seen Satyricon yet. It's just whenever I think of Fellini, I just think of Craig.
I would love to hear your thoughts on it.
I'll add it to the list. I'll throw it onto the pile. Okay, so the plot of Mad God is loosely as follows. I'm going to try to relay what I saw, and I think it might be the plot. So from above, there is one last guy, and what he's doing is he's taking other final guys, and he's like, here is a suitcase which contains a bomb, and here is a map. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do like a diving bell type situation where I lower you down into hell. And now that you're in hell, you have to follow this map, which, by the way, was made by witches. And so you're going to follow the witch map to your destination where you're going to set the bomb. So at the start of the movie, we have the guy who is lowered down. He goes through various hellish scenes. I would say the common theme between them is exploitation. Like there are little guys made out of goo that are then like mercilessly preyed upon by larger people who are icky. They are like commonly dispatched by things like flying bricks and what have you. So, you know, he travels across hell and finally he reaches the point on his map where he is to set the bomb. So he opens the shutter. He goes downstairs. He's almost to setting the bomb, and he is beset upon by some sort of creature that like that captures him. And importantly, the bomb remains finalized. Like the circuit isn't complete, or the timer isn't set or something, so the bomb will not go off. Our traveler here is shackled to like a surgeon's table. There's an audience for this part, like a movie theater audience, and they watch him get stripped, and they watch him get carved open by medical staff. And then there's like 3 minutes of them rifling through his chest cavity, where again it's just so many jewels and books and stuff. And then finally they find like a creature, like an Eraserhead baby, like in like the bottom back whatever of his chest cavity. The surgeon gives it to the other surgeon who sort of runs away. And then there's this long sort of diversion where the first surgeon takes a brain device and like drills it into our guy's head. And I think what we're seeing is his journey until this point, maybe, because it shows a guy who looks just like him. Although admittedly in the movie, there are many who look just like him, who was sent down in a diving bell, and you see his sort of trip across hell. Like there's like war zones, factory type situations, just like pure hellscapes, whatever. So that's kind of the last that we see of this guy. Presumably he dies on the operating table. But meanwhile, that other surgeon who is carrying the Eraserhead baby takes it to like a plague doctor. And she offers it up to him. And then the plague doctor takes the Eraserhead baby to some sort of like witch, or maybe like an alchemist or something. And they squish the baby down into a liquid, and then they turn the liquid into a powder. And then they blow like this glittery tray into a universe, and the universe spawns a new civilization, one that looks much more similar to ours than like the previous hellscape. But this civilization as well falls into war and pain and horror. And at the end, the bomb that the assassin set at the beginning of the movie goes off. And that is the plot of Mad God, I think. What did we think?
I love this. I think as a experience, it's extremely unique. It's gorgeous to look at. Even there's a part of it where it switches from like stop motion to live action, and like it takes like a bit of a dip in its visual quality. But like even then, I would like still say it looks pretty good. It looks to me a lot like what if the Repo the Genetic Opera aesthetic was like done a little bit better, you know? It's like a little less tacky.
Yeah.
I like that it's like about something, but it's like a bit loose with what it's about, and so it becomes all these images of like recurrence, like when he brings the bomb in when he sets the bomb, there's like a million other suitcases next to it of like other bombs that didn't go off either, and then there's just like you see later on there's like rows and rows of I looked up, I think he's called the assassin, but like are all right, you know.
Right.
So I like that there's these sort of like impressionistic ideas in it without it really kind of like having to like really solidify. It exists in this kind of like strange state where you can interpret it, but it doesn't really like translate very well to like a plot summary. Yeah, I think it's like the perfect length. If I had to say it's closest to anything we've covered, I'd say like Angel's Egg, in that it's sort of about like after, you know, like the fall of humanity, like what comes next, and then it posits like, no, we just do this again, like we just like it always just goes back to like hell. I like how it does it, and I just like the what mode it operates in. I like that it looks like heavy metal album covers. Yeah, I quite like this. I think it's a lot better than that Tool music video.
Josh.
Oh, okay. That listener, that sounds ominous to me.
Yes, it does.
I think Mad God is pretty incredible. I love stop motion, right? Like I think Paranorman is one of my most favorite animated films of all time. I love to see. I am just enamored by puppets. As a white millennial, okay, I am enamored by puppets. So I'm already like pro anything that's puppet based. But like this movie is so delightful to like. It's, you know, it's disgusting, right? But like, there is not 1 second of this movie that I'm not like acutely aware of the craft. Like at no point does this movie like lose me in it, which sounds like a bad thing, but this movie's craft is so fucking incredible that it's actually a really good thing. Like every single shot, I'm like, holy fuck, like how do you fucking do it? That is so icky complimentary. Everything is so like sticky and worn in and like gross and like sinister looking. It's just such a triumph. As much as I like the puppets, I almost love the sets more. Like, I want to someday when I have a house, okay, I'm going to go insane in my basement and build a bunch of little fucking sets. That sounds like so much fun. So yeah, the visuals for this were just outstanding. Like the whole texture of it was really enrapturing. Being the sort of like person that I am and the sort of viewer that I am, it like a sort of like silent, almost like video art kind of experience isn't my personal favorite. I did feel my attention wandering a few times, you know, which isn't necessarily the movie's fault, but it is the kind of viewer that I am. But all things considered, I mean, I think this is such a special movie just because there's like literally nothing else like Mad God there's just no other movie even sort of similar to it. So like so like just on its uniqueness alone, there's really no substitute. So yeah, just at like marveling craft alone, I liked this movie. But I mean, I'm probably not going to rewatch it anytime soon.
I grew up having a profound fondness for Ray Harryhausen and Clash of the Titans and the Seventh Voyage of Sinbad. I adore stop motion animation. You know, I think it's you know, of the animation techniques, I think it's one of the most like magical and mystical. It's so simple, it's so rudimentary, and even when it's clumsy, the clumsiness adds, it doesn't detract. You know, even when frames are kind of like a little janky, that's part of the charm. Yeah, I mean, I think the craft here on display is just really undeniable. The creation of an environment, the creation of a mood, the animation of these figures, especially the kind of like design of like the organic figures, and like, you know, they're like bleeding and hemorrhaging and shitting and gooping otherwise, and you know, it's really
gooping, globbing.
They're glooping. Yeah. They're doing all sorts of those adjectives, and it's like, it's great. Like, it really it's you know, the hell as Miltonian, but it's like the Garden of Earthly Delights at the same time. It you know, it's like, it's just Bosch. Like, you know, a fucking giant bird is eating you, and it's like whatever. And like the general like aesthetic of it's like World War I, but it's also World War II. You know, you have like really old tanks, but then you have like, you know, I don't know, it's like atom bombs and just this kind of like terrain of like old war that just like continues on, and it kind of like, you know, the building, there's a building and there's a destruction that doesn't seem to have a point. You know, that there's like a constant like thresher of things being built and things being torn down, things being built, things being torn down, and it's like why is the little fuzzy shit man? Why are little fuzzy shit people who are getting like just absolutely knocked off in every conceivable way? Like what are they doing? They're like little slaves, but they're building. But why are we building if everything's at war? You know, it has that kind of like horrors of war, post World War I kind of like art thing. And yeah, again, craft, you got it. One of the things that really threw me, and the reason that I open with Ray Harryhausen, is because as soon as the diving bell enters hell, you know, what do we see but a bunch of dusty old statues, and one of them, the one that's like the most obvious, is the Cyclops, right? The Cyclops from Seventh Voyage of Sinbad. And I'm like, my brain immediately went to, and I hadn't even really experienced the film yet, like, don't reference better films in your film, in the film that you're making. Don't do that. And, you know, and it's been quite a long time since I've seen those, and I don't know, I can't qualitatively say if it's better or not. But I was like, oh, okay, I get it. We're talking about the kind of history, or we're showing our kind of reverence to the gods of the genre, or the, you know, of the style, of the technique, of the craft. And then I'm like a little like I don't know. I had no expectations for this film, but like one of the things that kind of got me is there's a lot of tiny character moving through landscape, or us just kind of like getting a tour of landscape. And that's great because that gives us things like texture, it gives us like mood and atmosphere and all those sorts of things. But like even with its like really brief runtime, I feel like foreground, like I feel this like tension between foreground and background, where it's like there's notionally like there's something happening. There's a kind of forward push, and even I think the closest the film gets to like giving us like a kind of concrete like point of reference is when the baby child is born. The baby child is born out of the jeweled carcass that's like an infinite magician's box, and then is surrendered to probably my favorite design character, which is like a very wispy black ghost that has like trinkets around the brim of a hat, and then you kind of later see that it has a like a plague doctor mask on. It's like a really elegant character, and I do not know how they animated it. It's like it's fabric, it's cloth, and it's wispy. But that idea of like the moment of like the compression of the baby into like the goo, and then the goo into the ingot, and the ingot becomes the powder, which then opens up like a prism to another world. Like that is like fucking amazing. Like I think this movie sings when there's like a concrete thing happening, and that doesn't really happen a lot. Where there's like an expressionistic, like non sequitur thing happening, but like a lot of it is just kind of like, again, like a tour, kind of like a tour through the place, and I feel a little like, like a little bored by it. And then cumulatively, like I don't necessarily need it to add up to anything, but it's like it's given me enough to like want more. Like just the moments where there's characters and they're acting and they're doing something that's concrete, even if that action is like not certain, or we can't like understand why. They're like fascinating. And another knock on the film, genetic Repo, the genetic opera. That aesthetic is exactly. I couldn't articulate it. I honestly couldn't articulate it like right after I saw it. But now that you've said that, I don't, and I don't mean to sound like a purist here. Every time I saw a live like action person, it like took me out of the film. Like because the fucking like the fascist up at the top. I mean, I kind of get him being an actual human being. But we're given this nurse, and the nurse has like his, we don't see her face, but she has these like very dark like mascara and so on. But like she's not like really that important of a character, but nevertheless she's given a live action role. And like I don't know what to make of that. Because it just singles her out in a way that doesn't single any of the other like characters out. I don't know. I feel like this is my ultimate like thought, and the kind of like letterboxed a couple sentences. It's like the film feels like a tech demo. It feels like a tech demo for a video game, or kind of like proof of concept for something that could be but is not yet. And I think that's where I kind of like bumped up against like kind of. Yeah, like something like a little bit of boredom. But again, like has been said, I don't think there's any question that like the craft on display here, and like some of the camera movements, like there's one in particular where we're seeing the kind of the soldier protagonist person, and we get this like crane shot that kind of like circles around, and we're seeing a bunch of like tubes, and it's going like underground, and it's like how. But how? Like how do you do that in stop motion?
Yeah.
And it's moments like that it's like it's just sublime. It's just like a sublime and undeniable thing. But ultimately, it's like one of these things where it's like you're giving me like so much elegant like craftsmanship and so much elegant like formal choice that like the little like what I view as like little hiccups really kind of like fuck the whole machine, and make it a little, I don't know, a little less or something.
I'm here to vibe, and I think the vibes are cool.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, again, it sets a mood. I mean, it like from the get, it sets a mood, and I think that's one of the more impressive things about it is that like, just like color palette and the sound design on this thing is also fantastic.
Yeah,
you know, there's even that moment where just like a baby child is just like babbling, and it's not, and it's like in this situation that's almost like Holocausty, like almost like it's like slave labor, you know, like you know, this like servile population of bipedal like fur men that are like little poops are like, you know, doing labor, and they're doing it all to the loudspeaker of a child going blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
It's not like a baby. That's the thing too. It's an interesting formal choice because it's not like a baby in distress or like crying. It's just a baby like babbling, which is like even the baby laughs occasionally, and it's like there's a discordance that creates mood, that creates like a really special kind of aura, because I mean, again, like the movie is like, it's full of blood and viscera and guts and shit and stuff, but it's a little more than that, right? I think it's a little like self-aware enough to know that it's not like a stupid little music video. That's like, how hardcore can we be? You know, there at one point, like, there's like little Santas, like right in the beginning. There's like little miniature Santas that are like arguing over like a fucking sack of toys or some shit, and they get stepped on, and it's like a total non sequitur, right? Like it's one of these things that's just like, oh, okay, yeah, you know, in that kind of like art feeling way, it's like, okay, but it's not art film pretension either. I guess I don't mean to like paint it with that brush. It's like there's clearly fun being had here. You know, there's like an elasticity of like, even though like the things that we're dealing with have like pretty like clear parallels again to like horrors of actual war and like vivisection and like Nazi Germany and that kind of thing. It's like, what if a bunch of little tiny Santas got squished? Or what if like what if the little monkey creature shat out its ass onto its tits?
Right. What if the Nazis killed Santa Claus? Is a question that I've always.
Exactly.
Yeah. I've always wondered that.
Coming this fall from Rob Zombie.
What if a bunch of faceless men in electric chairs, all being executed, all just constantly shitting, and then a big creature was just lapping that shit up.
so
the shit was making its tits bigger.
And that's another thing I think the film does well, is indicate scale, like of.
Yeah.
And I think that's like primarily what it's. I mean, to me, that's like what's operative in like having a character navigate the landscape, is that we get to see by extension that the landscape is impossibly large. That they're dwarfed by it, and that moment of the very tiny little figure in these like gigantic, impossibly large men getting executed. When it first cut to them and they have these kind of like blob faces, I'm like, oh, that's pretty Lynchy. And then it kind of like cuts to an angle where it's revealed that they're all shitting, and I'm like, oh, that's not very David Lynchy at all.
No,
they're like being their shit is being harvested. You know, it was like when Jordan Peterson cried when he saw the fucking AI Chinese jack off room where men were being like milked for their semen. You know, it has that kind of like that bizarro quality
for real. But before we get too far off, I do want to just revisit the camera work in this movie, because I really do think it's exceptional, and I think that ties into what you're talking about, Craig, about like the scale of the movie, which I think is one of the. There are many triumphs here, but I think that its use of scale is like top 3 that because it just makes everything else like possible. But the camera moves in this, I just said earlier that I'm not going to rewatch this, but I actually probably will because it's just really good for study material. The camera moves are not, there's none that are like super crazy or very strange. You're getting these like slow pans, you're getting like a tilt here or there, but the movie is so really like lets you lap it up. Like I'm thinking of this shot early on where I believe actually the diving bell is still going down and there's these like twisty cones. Like I don't know what they're supposed to be. They're like cones that have like grooves carved into them. They could be like almost bullet like, or maybe they're supposed to be mountains. I don't know. But like they have them in different sizes, you know, to simulate an amount of depth. And the camera is doing this sort of sweep across, you know, letting you go like, you know, letting them pass in front of, this is all really basic stuff, right? Like letting them pass in front of the camera and then cutting as it goes past a really big one, using that to sort of hide the cut there. But like the camera is so generous with you, like it really lets you take in all of these sets. It's really not afraid to show you all of this insane artistry on display, to show you this like itty bitty little guy in this like colossal Miltonian hellscape that, again, I can only imagine is in some guy's basement, in the director's basement. I don't know. When I think of the camera, I just think like I just think like just generous, like a big amount of like spreading a good size of butter on your toast is what the camera work in this feels like. It's like, yeah, we made something really gorgeous, and you're gonna lap it up every shot. We're going to make sure that you can really take it all in. That, and you know, in conjunction with the incredibly smart scale, because like you can tell that some of this is like quite a few shots are just like clearly filmed in front of a green screen and then were composited on later. Like there's a few shots where the perspective isn't quite perfect, as if it wasn't taking place in the same area. But you know, I thought it was wonderful. Still, I mean, it was. I know that Craig mentioned this sort of like this melding of live action and stop motion being sort of a detriment, but I thought it was quite exciting. I liked, like there are scenes right at the beginning when the guy has gotten out of the diving bell and it's a close up on his feet, and I actually couldn't tell if that was live action or if that was a puppet, because if it was a puppet, the attention to detail is crazy, because like the boot is like deforming a little when the foot hits the ground, as shoes do when you step. And so like when the movie started, I was like, that might be live action. Actually, that's really interesting. And then, you know, it became more possible as there were more obviously live action shots in the movie. But for me, like, I mean, I think the merging is quite exciting, and the reason that they're able to get away with it for me is because they're so smart about this scale, about when they're like sort of compositing shots. They do it really smartly. They make you the models have like the right scale of detail, which has got to be so hard to plan for, have like the right scale of detail so that when you composite in a human that is a human size, it sort of works without looking weird or funny. I don't know. Extremely, extremely clever to me.
The close-ups, some of the hands are clearly like live action, but like some of it's a little less clear.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's like they're doing the Thunderbirds thing where they cut to a close-up of a hand flipping a switch, but it becomes like a real hand instead of a puppet or whatever. And while I do like the live action stuff in it, it is like a little, like it is a notch below just how mind-blowingly good the stop motion is.
To that end, I did sort of want to talk about, like, I mean, this movie doesn't obviously have like a story, but like I do think it has this great, Craig, like you were saying, like it reminds me a little bit of like The Wall in this sort of like abstracted like war imagery, this abstracted like anti-capitalist imagery that I think is really great. It's like Dante's Inferno if you had to live in like 20th century America, and I think that's really interesting. I like the sort of metaphors that are drawn here between like people just like watching like the mushroom clouds from nuclear bombs on TV. Like they're like, oh hell yeah, dude! Like look at that one, or like Or there is obviously an audience watching all of these people get eviscerated on TV, like quite clearly getting their chests ripped open while somebody harvests their organs, and you can see that there's like dozens of these people, and all of these presumably were their own TV show. And obviously, there's this really strong like anti-capitalist message. I mean, the goop people are made of goop, right? And then they go to their goop job, and then they are summarily executed by like a flying brick, or a monster shitting out of its tits, which is every boss, right? Or like or it gets stepped on by like some other equipment at like a factory. So I don't know. It's this really. I mean, perhaps it's a bit bygone because we don't do manufacturing in America anymore. But it's this, great illustration of the way that the mechanism of capitalism quite literally will grind up us, the goop people. In order to make more pain at the pain factory. And so like, I mean, my point here being like all of the visual metaphors I thought were really interesting. I think it does take like this sort of like Bosch type these tableaus that I thought of Hieronymus Bosch as well. Like it takes these sort of tableaus, but it makes them distinctly American, I would say. In fact, with the nuclear war imagery, with the sort of factoryized suffering, I do think there's like hints of like Mengele in Unit 731 with these like medical experimentation scenes. But yeah, I mean, there's so much of this that just feels like, oh yeah, we made Going to Hell, but in Ohio.
There's some definite like influence from like Metropolis as well, especially at the beginning when all of like the hairy thing people are like walking into like the hell factory. Again, about like just like how cheap those lives are. They just come off of a conveyor belt and walk into the smashing zone or whatever.
Yeah. Wake up, babe. It's time to become paste.
It's time for your 3 p.m. Monolith crash. I don't know. But yeah, it all kind of like comes back to like, just these ideas of just cheapness of life and eternal suffering and like recurrence of society-wide suffering, because it doesn't actually get better, it just happens again,
Well, and also this idea that like if you did alchemize a new world, that world could also easily fall victim to the same horrors that the old one did. I don't know if the movie's really about this, like about being like, oh, look out for the horrors, they'll come back. But like, I mean, it is pretty, it's the same bomb that goes off that went off, at the beginning, that was set at the beginning of the movie. So like, there's this idea that the old horrors can become the new horrors if one isn't vigilant of the horrors, I suppose.
Yeah, and I love that like creating a new universe scene, because the glitter looks so unlike the texture of everything we've seen before, and it goes into this thing, and it like has this whole like 2001: A Space Odyssey moment of like
all the fucking
just colors. It's like the opening to Uncut Gems where they go into the gem, and it's so kind of beautiful and like intoxicating, and then it just like completely falls apart anyway. And so like you get to see like kind of like I don't know, like the macro of the story as well, like just sort of like truncated there at the end of the whole downfall.
I do love that there's just like suddenly like a bunch of monoliths like flying at the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And the kind of, we're seeing like these really interesting like composites of like goopy, like, I don't know, it could be like dye entering water or like gelatin or something. It's like a really like fascinating like approach to like again, like, yeah, just like a complete like subversion of like the color palette that we've come to like know and expect from the film. Yeah, I think that moment where the baby is crushed and then like alchemized into the glittery dust. To me, that's just fucking incredible. Like everything in that moment is just, yeah, like it's worth the price of admission alone.
I did like that. I wouldn't. I don't know. Maybe I would have gotten here, but like I like the idea of using like these just very simple visual tricks, like just like having like blowing bubbles through colored liquid that like mimics mitosis or seems like cell division. Yeah, I'm like, oh, that's so clever, and it has the same like tactileness as everything else in the movie, just to have like yellow water in a petri dish, like, and then you just blow a bubble through it, and you're like, yeah, that's the genesis of life. I can see how that makes it look like that.
I don't know. It's like a really unique texture within the movie of like you see like a mushroom guy in like a little psychedelic pocket, like Jimmy Screamer Claus world, for like 2 minutes or something. I don't know. It doesn't feel like it gets old to me as I watch it. Like I didn't really kind of like tire of its aesthetics. I thought it did a good job of like creating unique segments every like 15 to 20 minutes.
Oh my god, yeah, no, because like I mean, if you haven't seen it, like this movie's 90 minutes long. They only like repeat settings when it would like make sense to, right? Like, I mean, you would cut back to like the surgery room because the surgery room is where the story is. But like, each of these set pieces is like, yeah, like you're saying, like its own segment. And I'm like, each of them is like so much fucking work and craft.
Yeah.
So like, it is sort of impossible to like tire of the visuals. Like, I remember being dazzled by the scene where they're like reading his memories, and it's the I don't know, our masked guy in like a shitty car that's like driving across like a landscape, and there's these like tanks that are just like shoe boxes that are just like shooting at each other. Yeah. And I'm like, that's easily one of the least like ornate set pieces, but even that still looks so like comprehensive, so believable, so. Yeah, it's so like, yeah, I agree. Each segment is just so realized. It's difficult to get tired of the visuals.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys know anything about the making of this movie?
I was going to bring it up because I think it's so romantic.
Yeah.
The only thing that caught me is at the end where it's like shot between 1980 something and 2000, and I'm like, what, dude? What?
Yeah. So, Phil Tippett, the guy who made it, or the guy who directed it, he wasn't like the only animator or anything. Like started work on it in like the late 80s, and then he made then he was hired on to do stop motion effects for Jurassic Park, which was originally going to be all stop motion, but then they impressed Spielberg so much with computer imagery that he was like, nah, sorry man, we got to do this other one, trust me. And so he was like, oh, okay, I think the future is going to be like CG, it's not going to be stop motion. So he put it away for like a really long time, and then about 10 years or so before the movie actually came out, they did like a Kickstarter to like fund the rest of it, and then like it became like sort of like a pet project for like Phil Tippett's studio, which like for the record did pivot to like CG, and they did like all the effects and like Starship Troopers and stuff. So like he did a lot of like really great work into into like modern cinema and everything, but like he kind of like was able to work with artists to create this on the side over a very long period of time. And like normally something like this just doesn't really get finished. Or what was Richard Williams' movie that got like butchered to hell? Thief and the Cobbler. It'll get Thief and the Cobblered, where like he'll put like 20 years into it, and then a studio will just sort of like swoop in and then make a bunch of changes he hates and then release it, a butchered version of it anyway, you know? And so like to see this like actually get realized fully and be released and find kind of like it was a Shudder original. It wasn't like a wide release movie or anything, but like for it to still get like an audience is like awesome.
Yeah, I mean to me this is like I don't know, like the platonic ideal of that sort of thing where you're like a working professional and you have your day job and then on the side you like make art that you're interested in. I was reading a little bit about the story because I was, because this was funded in large part by Kickstarter. So I wanted to go to the Kickstarter page and just like sort of read about how they were doing. And like they got like other stop motion artists, but Tippett also utilized like art students, which I think is really lovely. I think that's really wonderful hands-on experience, which I think a lot of art schools suffer from a lack of. And just like the idea of like using other artisans that like and trust to help you make this. In terms of sheer labor, a staggering achievement. It's just so like, it's so romantic to me. I just love the idea that it was like shelved for 20 years or whatever, and they brought it back and they're like, Phil, man, you gotta knock this one out. We have to make a madder God than ever before. So yeah, I mean, like the story of this, I think, is just so very romantic. It's easy to get caught up in the magic of it there.
Yeah, and the movie's really good too. Like the movie like totally lives up to that as like a barely narrative midnight movie. Like it totally lives up to like what you would expect from something like that. I also read that there's the scene where he's in the Jeep and he drives through like mountains of dead bodies, like a landscape painting, but it's all just like dead bodies. And it took them like 3 years of melting army men figures together to get it.
Oh man,
that's incredible. But
it looks
just
amazing,
liquefying,
and it's only on screen for like a minute or something. Like it's so wild.
And like this, I don't know. This is so like, how do I put this? This is so like unfranchisable.
It's a hard sell.
Yeah, there's nothing to this movie except for like the artistry of the movie. Like there's like no.
It's not compromised.
And it would be impossible to compromise sooner because like even if some like Hollywood sicko were to like buy the rights to make Mad God 2, right? And they do it they do it with AI or something. There's no, they would have to make a universe from scratch. They'd have to make a narrative from scratch. But then like also it's so grotesque that no one will touch it in the first place. And it's like, yeah, to make like a purely art object this came out in 2021, that's like, showcasing this level of skill and this level of ability, and this level of like artistic range. It's extraordinary.
Yeah, because it's so fucking polished, man. It's like it's something with this little appeal shouldn't look this good anymore. Like this. Yeah. Like, I mean, there are indie movies that look good that, don't have like real Hollywood budgets or whatever. But it's like, we lost something about that when we switched to digital. Like, we lost some kind of like tangibility in like experimental film. In like this still kind of has that juice in it. Yeah,
I mean, I think to that point, like, I think you could have made this movie. If you were like an independent filmmaker, you could have made this movie at a less insanely level of quality, like this exact movie, but like you did it in, Blender or whatever. And I would still probably think this sort of like lower budget, lower craft threshold. That sounds judgy, but like because just a different, less expensive, less time consuming medium. And I probably still would have been like, oh yeah, Mad God was pretty good. Right. But like the fact that it is this insane level, it is this amount of little fucking puppets that get eviscerated. It's just incredible that this exists.
Yeah. To like compare it to like, I like Jimmy Screamer Claus a lot, but like he does animate his entire movies by himself. It's just like it's just him and a voice cast, basically. They don't look this good. I mean, they have their own style. They look, I don't want to say they look bad intentionally, but they look like they're supposed to. like it being kind of like hard to watch is like the point of those movies. But this movie looks really fucking good. I guess I just wanted to like, in contrast, just it looks like a million times better than it should, considering its creation.
Yeah, I mean, it looks so good that you don't want to look away when they're grinding the Eraserhead baby into juice.
Yeah.
Like you're just like it looks so good that like no matter what kind of circle of hell you're on, you're just locked the fuck in because you're like, I want to see the next guy. And to Craig's point earlier, I have no idea how they fucking animated the guy with the mask, because there's like a close up on his feet and there are no feet. I only assume they like put him on like a track on like a wire and like but like I don't know how they made him move without looking like he's bobbing, right? Like he's like snapping back at the elasticity of a wire. I don't know. It's amazing.
Yeah.
He
Or
looks
like,
spectral and floaty, but yeah, I don't know how.
right. Like, and what does the floaty fabric have to be made out of in order to be pliable, but also look like fabric? You know, like it's very it's one of these things where it's like, well, I mean, it's just bewitching as a character, bewitching as a design, and then there's just that like lingering like how. You know, it's remarkable. It's really remarkable.
Just like amazing compositing of individual fabric strands blowing in the wind in slow motion. Is that how they did it?
I don't know,
man.
I don't know.
Man, do you think that Tippett still has these sets in his basement? Like he just like, I wouldn't be able to throw away my little guys. Are you kidding?
I was actually I thought of that during the process. Well, and I mean the fact that we open up with a museum of like famous stop motion characters of the bygone era. I'm like, if you work on a stop motion set, like.
You keep the figures.
Yeah. Do you not like pocket like fucking everything? Like do you not like seal that away, or because like I mean, on the very basic level that there are going to be Guillermo del Toros in the world that want to fill their bleak house with with your little clay things, like like there's so many reasons why you would just keep all of that.
Yeah, I think traditionally the stop motion figures for movies are kept or like auctioned off or something, but like they're not. I don't think they're usually like fully discarded or anything. So presumably all this stuff still exists somewhere.
Yeah,
all
it was
those
either
thousands of army men melted together still are intact somewhere.
Yeah, the forbidden rock candy. This was either last Animationist Film Festival here in Hollywood, California, or two ago, but they had a big exhibit in the Chinese theater of like Leica puppets. So there were some Paranorman puppets, but a lot of them were Kubo and the Two Strings that were just like on display in the lobby. And like, I mean, Kubo wasn't a very good movie, but the puppets were out fucking rageous.
Yeah.
And to be able to see the puppets in person, like there's this, I can't remember the context now, I only saw the movie once, but there's like the boat that I think it's at the start of the film, and it's made out of like leaves or paper or something, and so it's this giant ship made out of all these what's supposed to look like disparate scraps of something light and dry, and it just looks fucking incredible in person. All of the character puppets are incredible. Just it's fucking nuts. If I was a stop motion filmmaker, I would have even more fucking tchotchkes on my person at all times than I already do.
You'd have so many shelves.
Oh my god, and I already have so many. I'd have to move all my Zorros over so I can put all my little guys. Do we have any final thoughts about Mad God? Hell of a title. Love this title.
Yeah.
A kind of tangential, Guillermo del Toro in collaboration with Netflix and sorry Josh, you're gonna have to help me. Is it Goblins? Is that how you say it?
Gobelin.
I always just want to say goblins. It kind of throws me.
I always just go, goblins.
Yeah, no, I went to my first day of class and I'm like, oh yeah, I mean, because I knew it was an O sound because it's French. I was like, oh, goblins, and they're like Gobelin, and I'm
Goblins.
like, that's what I said.
Yeah.
I guess I'll die.
They're creating a studio at Gobelins Paris, specifically for stop motion animation. It's like it's supposed to be kind of an incubator space. Yeah, you can Google it. Guillermo tweeted it out or skeeted it out the other day. So yeah, there's gonna be, because he loves stop motion again. I'm a man that loves Ray Harryhausen, and I guarantee you owns fucking like props from like you know Voyage of Sinbad and shit. Although just not to like Guillermo del Toro this, he's also consolidating his Bleak House apparently, and he's gonna be auctioning off a lot of his stuff. But yeah, it's interesting that conversation of like we kind of left behind a really special thing, but I love that Guillermo del Toro in his kind of nerddom and you know having like bewitched Netflix sufficiently to open their purse strings is helping to like carry stop motion forward. I think that's very cool.
Yeah. Well, you know, and it's great that there's still stuff like you know, Tippett's Mad God. I know that del Toro's Pinocchio was stop motion. Excuse me. And then there is the Henry Selick, who just had Wendell and Wild a few years ago. So there are these people who are still making stop motion movies, and it's just really nice to see that like no matter how I don't know, sort of like crazy computers get, how you know evil and all encompassing and you know unconsensual AI is, like there's still like a human joy in seeing a puppet. It is so much fun to witness the magic of moving a puppet just a little bit 24 fucking times in a second.
You can't beat clay.
You can't beat it. It's like, and so yeah, I agree that it's great that Netflix and Del Toro and Gobelin are still sort of keeping that alive. I got to tell you though, I've been to that school. I have no idea where they're gonna fit like a stop motion lab in there, but that's incredible news. I didn't hear that. Del Toro remains one of the last real ones in existence.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, he was just posting. He was posting on he was just posting on Blue Sky the fucking miniatures that he made for his upcoming Frankenstein, and I'm like, God bless you, dude. Like,
yeah,
you know?
Shouts out.
We'll compare and contrast real goofus and gallant shit. Like the same week that Del Toro's announcing this, George Miller's like, let's just do AI. Like maybe it rocks actually. And I'm like,
he's old.
he's probably 25 years older than Del Toro, but like he can still be able to think.
Yeah, I heard in a commentary one time of someone who was really feeling downtrodden by something that a director said, gave the advice like you can only expect so much from like our elders. like they're just, you know, they don't really get it. They don't.
Yeah. It's kind of like elder abuse or something.
If younger people I'm more mad at than I am at Biden age George Miller. Does that make sense?
I guess, but he made a movie about the water wars, and he's like, we should do the water wars.
No, I agree.
I'm
not. I hate AI. I'm not defending the technology in any way.
No, it's just a level of irony coming from George Miller that you don't get because other directors didn't make Mad Max.
Yeah, that's fair. I really don't want to be like seeming like I'm defending the technique here or anything. Like all that shit needs to go away immediately. But people just get old.
Fair
James
enough.
Cameron he's old. George Miller is old.
His ass.
And he's an egotist, which makes sense, right? Like it totally makes sense that he would be like, "Oh, I'm still cutting edge, and I'm gonna take what I view as an emergent technology. I'm gonna ride with it. I'm on the bleeding edge of everything because I'm James Cameron. You know, like there's so much wrapped up in his own like overestimation of like his own like prowess or something." You know, like it makes sense in a way that it would make sense to someone that's a megalomaniac.
Yeah. And as we all know, the submissive holds all of the power in the sub-dom dynamic.
He's got those
Famously, we
studios
all know
right
that.
where he fucking wants them.
I give this movie 4 stars. I do think it's an absolute feast for the senses, even if its non-narrative quality does not do me right.
5 stars for me. I love this kind of thing. And if you're into this kind of thing, there's another one. It's Mad God. Rejoice. It's another one of these kinds of things.
This is 3, and again, it's more of a kind of like me thing. Again, I feel like I've just spent the entire episode talking about how great the movie is, but like, yeah, I mean, there's just like there's sticking points here, and it's mostly to do with like narrative and like what I see as like potential or something. But yeah, this is worth going out of your way to like experience at least once.
Not me, baby. Just drop that shit right in my mouth. Make my tits big. Let's go.
Tits huge. TV playing Mad God for the 947th time.
Shudder lifetime subscrition.
Jennifer's girlfriend is like, hey, can we watch, I don't know, anything else? And you're like, shut up, babe, Mad God is on.
Don't interrupt my tippet.
Thank you so much for listening. You can find the show wherever you get your podcasts. So Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you're listening, please rate, please review, please subscribe, please leave like a comment, please do all that fun stuff with us on our podcast providers. And you can find, you can ask us questions. You can send in a movie recommendation if you like. You can send in an anecdote if you please. That's at swimfanspodcast@gmail.com. You can also do that on the Spotify episode entries. You can do that on, I don't know, Instagram, DMs, whatever. Surprise us, I guess. And you can find the show on all the social medias. That's Twitter. That's Blue Sky, Instagram, Letterboxd. That's user SwimFansPod. Give us a follow there. We also have a Patreon. That's patreon.com/swimfans. This month, I am taking the reins. I am our own little Santa, pre-squash, and I am reviewing. I'm going to talk about the Rocky Horror Picture Show, a huge movie from my youth, with a couple other diehards. So we'll have that up for you in October. So yeah, if you want to hear more similar things, more smaller, more out of our usual wheelhouse type things, you can subscribe to the Patreon, patreon.com/swimfans. For as low as $1 a month, you get access to all of that. I am online at user Amons, AMONNS, Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram, Letterboxd, same everywhere. I saw the new Conjuring movie. Not good.
I can't say I'm surprised.
So yeah, okay, very briefly, I want to love these movies because I think it's funny to have so Ed and Lorraine Warren, famous hucksters, abusers. I think Ed Warren is a statutory rapist. All of that, monsters, professional charlatans. I think it's so funny to cast them as famous hot people, Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga. So fucking funny. I love it. And so I watch them every time they come out because I think Craig feels me here that the first Conjuring movie pretty good,
Fucking
and then
amazing,
the next
yeah.
The next 8 suck ass, and there's just no redemption. But I was watching this one, and it becomes so clear. This is ostensibly the last one. This is the movie that ended this is the case that ended the Warrens or whatever. And it's shoddily made. The storytelling's not compelling. But what struck me the most is that the power balance is wrong. The Warrens don't have enough powers. Okay, so Lorraine, her whole deal is that she is psychic, okay, but all she does is enter clearly demonically possessed rooms and is the vibes here are bad. And it's like not enough power. And I'm like, she's psychic. I think she should be able to do telekinesis. I think she should be able to banish spirits. I think she should be able to do anything that like an anime exorcist would do, because just being aware of a ghost is not enough of a power, in my opinion. Let's amp up the showmanship a little bit, especially because Ed is giving you, he's not making up for the lack of showmanship. He also sucks. They have to like force him to grab the Bible to do the exorcism in this movie. And I'm like, give me anything. Just exercise something. I need it.
It'd be like they just fucking threw the script out the window and they're like, Lorraine is fucking Jean Grey now.
Honestly, make her Jean, because I watched The Pope's Exorcist, which stars Russell Crowe.
Yeah.
And it is actually worse than this, but it's like Sailor Moon with the devil. Like Russell Crowe is like hurling like shining crosses at the devil, and it fucking rocks, dude. Like I'm like, give me some pageantry. I want to see you do a spell. If you're Anyway, The Conjuring Last Rites, utterly sauceless. Jen.
You can follow me on Blue Sky Diatron 5. I'm on Letterboxd Diatron. I watched a 6-minute long short film that I thought was really great. It was called The Psychotic Odyssey of Richard Chase, and it's like a true crime retelling of his life, but it's entirely like Barbie dolls and like crayon illustrations and stuff, and like it actually does like a really good job of like conveying what you need to know about him, and like you kind of like get why everything sort of failed him,
right?
And it kind of like, I don't know, it gave you like everything a true crime documentary would give you, but in 6 minutes and concise, and like no fat on it, and like it's like really visually engaging and like appropriately disturbing. That was pretty good. I liked that quite a bit. It's on YouTube. Craig.
You can find me at Craig Neeson on Instagram and Letterboxd, craigneeson.com. I haven't watched anything really in the meantime. I did see the first episode of Serial Experiments Lane, which isn't really enough to like comment on it, other than I really
love you.
I really
Hell
dug
yeah,
it.
It begins.
It begins. I have been watching X-Files pretty consistently. I got to the first, and I didn't know this. There's like 5 episodes that are written by a kind of comedy writer. The one that I just encountered in season 2, I think it's called Humbug. Features the little man from Twin Peaks, and it's like I think I might do a Craig brain on it, because it's the first time that it's like the X-Files version of what's the Simpsons Treehouse of Horror. It's like an X-Files Treehouse of Horror, and it's like really fucking, it's great, and I'm really keen to see the other 4 that she wrote for this, because it's like such a sharp and funny and like lively episode. I don't get me wrong, I love the formula, but like the idea of injecting like self-aware humor into it was just like, I don't know, it was like sublime. It was really sublime experience. So yeah, season 2, I think it's called The Humbug.
Well, I eagerly await the return of Craig Brain.
Yeah, we gotta come back.
We have to go back, Kate.
Kate. Oh, that's a Craig Brain thing to say. Yeah, Kate, listen. Kate, listen. Get back in there.
We have to go back.
Craig, for every day that you don't watch Serial Experiments Lane, we will be reducing an inch of your cage, and I'm not fucking around. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if I let it drop, I'm like Indiana Jones in one of those like fucking rooms that's like collapsing in on itself, Yeah. Yeah. No, I'll be squished into a little fucking Craig cube.
Cube 2 Craig Cube. Bye.
Bye.
Might.